We know, since Season 1, Episode 20 was Destroying Second Space and Time, hosted by Ron Pitts. You remember the Russia helicopter blades slammed to the water, killing several crew members inside. You remember the passenger plane hits the trees and crashes, killing 3 inside. The upside down pier. You remember the top alcohol drag boat barrels and shreds apart. The tornadoes nearby the house. The tunnel terror in Russia. The most barrel slammed to a snow guardrail. The Wing Express left tire snaps off and slammed to the wall. My truck 2 months wait to the crane and collapses in Aichi, Japan. The barrel-rolling black Porsche that you remember Season 1 and 2 was Destroying Second Space and Time I posted before since 2022 and 2023 this year. Before I start this video, go see Season 1, Episode 20 to Episode 69 about Destroying Second Space and Time. In Season 2, go see Episode 71 to Episode 82 that you remember and I haven't seen before. The last episode in Season 1 was 40 and in Season 2, 24. So let's start right now. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Jose Serrano right here of Jose Serrano Special Vehicles. You're about to see some of the most white things, instructive things I've found since I was a kid. It was a supercharged Mazda RX-7. Rotates and goes airborne and tips upside down by scratching on the roof. An F-18 Hornet slammed to the ground as a failure stunt, injuring the pilot. An Air Force Phantom slammed to the ground. See Episode 69. That's differently on Episode 48. You'll see that every drag cars videos that you see the non-winged top fuel dragster hits the vintage dragster, slams to the wall, collides each other, nearly misses the cameraman. And you see the pickup truck dragster hits the white drag racer into the wall, and no one is injured. And you remember the sinking boat since Episode 65 and 69 Season 1. So this time you see the cargo ship rescue. So let's go ahead and begin this video. Stand up, exercise, enjoy the show. Showtime.
So much as a warning, life hangs in the balance. Human endeavor turns to chaos. And within seconds, nothing will ever be the same. Ever. I'm Ron Pitts. Are you ready for some of the most furious destruction ever captured on tape? In Peru, dozens of barrels of volatile chemicals explode into fireballs over 13 stories high. And the test flight of a brand new military jet ends in a fiery runway crash. Get ready to be right in the middle of it all as things are destroyed in seconds. Traunsee, Austria. Two-man one-man crews from around the world are here to race their Class 1 boats at the World Offshore Powerboat Championships. These 5-ton vessels rip across the water at speeds of up to 145 miles per hour. They leave little in their wake, including other boats that make the mistake of getting too close.
Oh my word, that is massive!
In second place, the Australian boat tries to make a move on Norway's entry, but gets caught in its turbulent wash. The wash, known as a rooster tail, causes the Australians to lose control.
Not the place to be at 250 kilometers an hour. 5 tons of racing bones simply tossed into the air. The Australians crash. Oh my word, that is massive. They will, I'm sure, consider this the darkest hour in 10 years of competition at this level.
Thanks to their reinforced cockpit, the 2 men on board escape with only minor scratches. The Norwegians go on to win the 7.5-mile race. As for the Australians, their $1.4 million boat is a total loss.
And as crashes go, they come no bigger.
Phoenix, Arizona's 20-mile-long Metro Rail line opens December 27, 2008. The system connects the desert cities of Phoenix, Tempe, and Mesa. Nearly the entire length of the track runs parallel with street traffic. The result is havoc. Local drivers aren't used to sharing the road with the train. January 5th, 2009. Mesa resident Brandon Stovall and his girlfriend are in the process of moving. After the eastbound train passes, the crossing arm raises up. Brandon pulls onto the tracks, oblivious to the oncoming westbound train. Moving at 25 miles per hour, there's no way the train can stop in time. The train rips through the bed of the truck, sending furniture flying. The vehicle swings 180 degrees before coming to a stop. There's no movement inside the cab of the pickup. Bystanders check on the couple. Moments later, Brandon and his girlfriend are able to walk away, but their truck is destroyed. Had Brandon driven any slower, the collision could have been fatal. To help prevent further accidents, the Phoenix Metro has spent millions upgrading warning systems, adding curbs between trains and cars, and educating the public. The Willowbank Raceway in Queensland, Australia. As 2 dragsters take up position at the starting line, around the track, cameramen prepare to cover the action. But there's no way any cameraman can prepare for this. Both dragsters quickly exceed 160 miles per hour. Bellert wins the elimination round with Marsden close behind. But 100 feet past the finish line, Marsden's car begins to drift. It tips onto two wheels and fishtails into Bellert. Sparks fly as both cars scrape the metal barrier and nearly collide a second time. Marsden's car finally comes to a halt 150 feet further down the track. The cameraman who captures the crash on tape escapes injury.
Oh, well, it was just coming straight towards me. And I ran. And they were just heading down the sort of railing straight towards me, and there were sparks flying, and that's when I decided I should leave the area.
Marsden is able to walk away from the wreckage. It takes 3 years to rebuild his dragster. Bellert is momentarily knocked unconscious and suffers severe bruising. The only thing that's salvageable from his $40,000 dragster is the engine. Factory in Lima, Peru erupts in flames. The 3.5-acre facility holds hundreds of barrels containing highly flammable chemicals like toluene and methanol. If the barrels get too hot, they can burst open and trigger massive explosions. Firefighters from 35 departments battle the blaze. But low water pressure makes containing the inferno difficult. Toxic fumes seep into the air. 200 families from the surrounding neighborhoods are forced to evacuate. They grab whatever they can and flee to safety. Finally, the building housing the chemicals collapses. And one by one, the barrels start to explode. What remains of one burning barrel rockets through the night sky. Flames now reach more than 13 stories high. Pillars of black smoke climb nearly 500 feet. And temperatures exceed 1,000 degrees. All the firefighters can do now is watch the blaze until it burns itself out. By sunrise, nearly a third of the factory is a blackened ruin. Damages to the plant are estimated at over $1 million. Thankfully, no one is injured. Despite fears from local residents about such disasters, owners of the factory decide to rebuild on the same site. Vail Pass, Colorado. A 10,000-foot-high snowmobiler's paradise in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. And the perfect location for a film crew to shoot footage of snowmobile freestyler Cody Schmidt. Cody has been honing his riding skills since his mid-teens and is considered one of the best in the field. As cameras roll, the 26-year-old combines speed with skill to nail jump after jump. But Cody's last jump of the day turns out to be one jump too many. Cody miscalculates his approach and hits the launch ramp going too fast. At the top of the 10-foot ramp, he hits his head on the handlebars and is forced to jump off, plunging 40 feet to the ground. Cody is able to stay clear of his 500-pound snowmobile, but he's seriously injured. Onlookers rush in to help the fallen rider. The crash causes Cody to break his back in 5 places. It takes Cody a year to recover, but he returns to ride again. His highly modified $10,000 snowmobile is totaled. It's one of the fastest and most powerful jets ever made, the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. Produced between 1958 and 1979, the Phantom II can reach a top speed of Mach 2, or roughly 1,500 miles per hour. Before each jet is turned over to the U.S. military, it undergoes extensive testing. First on the ground, then in the air. In March of 1968, a brand new Phantom II takes off on its second test flight. Takes off with a civilian test pilot and a radar observer on board. The jet immediately enters a steep vertical climb. At 150 feet, it over-rotates. Both men eject. The plane stalls in an almost vertical position. Then, gravity takes hold of the roughly 51,000-pound fighter. Fire crews rush to the scene and douse the burning wreckage with foam. The Phantom II, worth roughly 10 million inflation-adjusted dollars, is completely destroyed. The 2 men walk away uninjured. Both are later cleared of responsibility in the crash. Its cause? A technician accidentally leaves a riveting tool inside the aft fuselage. The tool jams a control cable, causing the jet to climb on its own and crash. The Oceano Dunes on the Central California coast is nature's playground for off-road enthusiasts. Wind gusts form massive dunes, which make perfect ramps for big-time stunts. A motocross team is shooting video of their riders getting air. A cameraman positions himself for the best possible angle at the worst possible time. Oh! Tracy races up the blind hill at 50 miles per hour. Just as he hits the crest of the dune, the cameraman unintentionally blocks his landing area. Tracy immediately jumps off the bike and flies 70 feet through the air. He slams into the dune and slides to an agonizing halt. Friends and teammates rush over. Tracy lays slumped on the sand. Unsure of his injuries, the crowd takes precautions. Minutes later, Tracy is up. He's uninjured, and his bike sustains only minor damage. Tracy said he decided to abort the jump once he saw the cameraman in his way. If the shooter had waited another second to move, the outcome would have been far worse. smoke escaped from an historic landmark in Aurora, Nebraska. Inside, a dangerous fire is brewing. Local firefighters rush to the scene. Eager to save the more than 100-year-old structure, they vent the building by chopping a hole in the roof and breaking out windows. But the fire continues to spread. Next, firefighters try spraying the building with fire-retardant foam, but the flames climb to the 4th floor. Making matters worse, temperatures outside reach 90 degrees. Heat exhaustion is now another threat to fire crews. Firefighters from 9 other departments are called in to help fight the blaze. The inferno grows stronger by the second. Experts believe the blast is caused by a smoke explosion. Smoke explosions occur when highly flammable smoke is suddenly ignited. The blast emanates from the rear of the 3rd floor. The remaining windows shatter. And west wall follow. Bricks and debris rain onto the street below. Luckily, no one is inside the building at the time of the blast. Of the 64 firefighters on hand, only 2 suffer minor injuries. The building next door sustains damage from falling rubble. 2 teenagers are charged with starting the initial fire. After being declared a total loss, the building is leveled. All that sits on this site now is an empty lot. I'm Ron Pitts, and we'll see you next time on Destroyed in Seconds. So much as a warning, life hangs in the balance. Human endeavor turns to chaos. And within seconds, nothing will ever be the same. Ever. We have scoured the world to find jaw-dropping tape of moments of destruction. From a young skier's brush with death, when his attempt to complete a daring 100-foot jump comes up short, to a military pilot who stuns an airshow crowd when he crashes an F-18 jet during a dangerous stunt. Just when you think it's safe to relax, everything gets destroyed in seconds. A powerful street machine, a desolate track, and a driver with a desire to break an all-time speed record. A thrilling combination, but not without risk. Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats. 159 square miles of the widest and flattest open space on Earth. During Bonneville Speed Week, the flats become a proving ground for the fastest vehicles on 2, 4, or even 3 wheels. Today, driver Jim Metterer is hoping to set a new record for production car speed. The number to beat is 241 miles per hour. Jim wants to hit 300 miles per hour in his modified Mazda RX-7 with its 900 horsepower engine. Jim sets off on his record-breaking attempt. The risk of crashing increases as he clocks speeds of 150, 200, and then 225 miles per hour. An hour, just 12 miles an hour shy of breaking the record, Jim is not picking up enough speed. He turns up the oxygen mix in the fuel. It adds at least 50 more horsepower to the engine. The extra power boost causes him to lose control. The rush of air flowing underneath the RX-7's body sends it airborne. Tries to deploy the emergency parachute in desperation, but it's too little, too late. When the car ends its slide, flames erupt in front of the windshield. Jim frees himself from the harness and roll cage. Shimmies out of the car and hits a button that releases carbon dioxide to put out the flames. Despite his spectacular wipeout, Jim walks away without a scratch. The car is damaged, but salvageable. 3 years after this crash, Jim finally beats the old speed record by hitting 242 miles per hour. He has yet to reach his personal goal of 300. El Toro Marine Base Air Show in Southern California. 150,000 spectators take in 3 days of aerial thrill. One of the attractions is this supersonic F-18 Hornet fighter jet, piloted by Marine Colonel Jerry Caddick. Caddick is one of the most experienced fighter pilots in the Marines. Early in his career, he earns the call sign Kamikaze after he twice lands jets with failed engines. Many are here just to see the highly decorated pilot perform a difficult and rarely seen maneuver called the square Immelman. Caddick successfully completes this stunt twice over the 3-day event. But on his third and final performance, something goes wrong. Is supposed to fly a series of 90-degree angles, then level out to complete a square. This split screen shows the view from the ground on the right and the view from the cockpit on the left. Caddick heads straight for the ground at 300 miles per hour. He slams into the tarmac and skids across the runway. Investigators believe Caddick became disoriented as he sped up to complete the square. When he realizes he's too close to the ground, it's too late. At 114 miles per hour, the aircraft slams to Earth. Emergency crews rush the pilot to the hospital, but the prognosis is not good. Caddick has a fractured neck, a compressed spinal cord, and a collapsed lung. He spends 5 months in the hospital, but the man nicknamed Kamikaze survives one of the hardest crash landings in air show history. Mount Shasta, California. A film company has taken over the slopes to shoot an extreme ski video. This newest film will feature some of the most incredible freestyle skiers in the world. For 10 days, the cast and crew build 2 giant 100-foot channel gap ramps, which are intended to be the highlight of the film. Once they're complete, skiers realize that the only way to get up enough speed to clear the gap is to be towed behind a snowmobile. At close to 65 miles per hour, skiers let go of the tow rope and rocket towards the ramp. After some spectacular runs off the first ramp, they turn their attention to the untested second ramp. After careful consideration, 16-year-old pro freestyler Derek Spong decides to try the jump. He thinks the approach is long enough to give him the speed he needs to clear the 100-foot gap. Unfortunately, he doesn't take into account the changing snow conditions. On the slopes of California's Mount Shasta ski resort, filmmakers begin shooting a movie featuring extreme skiers. One of the film's highlights is the dual 100-foot gap jumps. After some remarkable aerials off the first ramp, 16-year-old pro freestyler Derek Spong is set to take off from the yet untested second ramp. Unfortunately, no one factors in the changing snow conditions. Rising temperatures through the day cause the snow to soften, and Derek loses speed too quickly. He comes up 5 feet short and collides with the base of the landing ramp. He drops to the ground unconscious. Fellow skiers and film crew rush to Derek's aid and immediately call for ski patrol. He's rushed to the hospital with various injuries, including broken ribs, cracked vertebrae, and a partially torn spleen. He'll need surgery to sew up a torn aorta, the artery that carries blood from the heart. After several surgeries, Derek is back on the slopes. The devastating crash ends up being the climax of the film. July 6, 2000. Firefighters battle a blaze at a gasoline plant in Omsk, Russia. A freight train pulling 9 tank cars is stationed nearby. Each tank car is filled with 60 tons of highly volatile natural gas condensate. Despite the danger, spectators flock to the scene for an up-close look. Firefighters try to keep the flames from spreading to the tank cars, but their efforts fail. The explosion splashed flaming gasoline across the plant grounds and onto surrounding buildings. After 3 hours, fire crews finally bring the blaze under control. Some of the train's tanker cars are blown wide open and completely flattened. Dozens of spectators, as well as medical crews assisting at the scene, suffer burns from the fiery explosions. 3 people, including 1 firefighter, lose their lives. The cause of the fire is never officially determined. It's believed that the disaster may have been caused by illegal siphoning, the attempted theft of gasoline. The St. George Motorboat Club in Sydney, Australia, plays host to an annual Formula One speedboat race. The event features some of the fastest boats on the water in a race of tight turns on uneven seas. Today, Malcolm McCall will be racing for the championship in his 700 horsepower F1. McCall is battling 3 other racers for first place when a sudden gust of wind gets under his bow. At speeds of 120 miles per hour, the gust sends McCall and his boat 30 feet into the air and over backwards. The bow violently clips the water, ejecting McCall head first from his cockpit. He narrowly misses hitting his supercharged motor as it bursts into flames. McCall's body slams the water at nearly 100 miles per hour.
The boat's come back up the right way. I don't know where the bloke is.
Rescue crews rush in and pull him from the water. McCall suffers 6 broken ribs, 3 smashed vertebrae, and several internal injuries. It takes 6 months for him to make a full recovery, but he eventually returns to racing. His $100,000 boat is completely destroyed. NASA's Wallops Flight Facility,
5,
Virginia,
4,
1995.
3, 2, 1, 0. Have ignition of the
A commercial rocket called the Conestoga 1620 is launched over the Atlantic Ocean.
We do have pitch over. We have 3 good radar sources at this
The
time.
roughly 5-story tall Conestoga was originally designed to make supply runs to the International Space Station.
We have vehicle failure. We do have rare vehicle failure at this time. Have ignition of the Conestoga 16.
During its ascent, vibrations confused the onboard navigation system into thinking that the rocket is going off course, even though it's not. This engages the automatic self-destruct system, and the rocket is destroyed. All 8 of the rocket's boosters are supposed to self-destruct as well, but only 6 explode. The 2 remaining boosters careen wildly as they burn off the last of their fuel. Self-destruction devices prevent rockets from veering towards land and hitting populated areas.
We would ask at this time that everyone remain in their current locations and please do not move.
When the engines on the boosters burn out, each 30-foot-long cylinder begins a long descent. This footage makes it appear as though the boosters and debris are falling on land, but they're actually falling 14 miles offshore into the Atlantic Ocean. The impact is so great, the splash can be seen from this distance.
2, 1, 0. Have ignition
of the Conestoga 1620 that has...
The Conestoga rocket program is scrapped after the $20 million loss. It marks the first time at Wallops Island that a rocket failed on its maiden voyage.
We would ask at this time that everyone remain in their current locations and please do not move.
Julian, North Carolina. Hundreds gather at the Piedmont Dragway for the first North versus South $50,000 big dog shootout. 30 dragsters compete for the chance to win the prize and title. In their 2,000 horsepower cars, these pros race down the 1/8 mile track at a top speed of 150 miles per hour. Junior Ward is in the white car. The blue truck is driven by racer Ricky Young. Ricky doesn't know it, but his rear axle is near the breaking point and is just one race away from failing. It's the first North versus South $50,000 big dog shootout. This qualifying round pits South against South. On the right is Junior Ward. On the left, in the blue truck, is Ricky Young. As Ricky peels out, his axle weakened by normal wear and tear breaks, causing his truck to veer directly into Junior. As the cars slam together, Junior's front right tire snaps off and flies into the air. The impact sends Junior's racer into the guardrail. It bursts into flames and skids down the track. Junior's front panel gets sucked under the car and shoots out the back end. The dragster slides to a slow stop. Within seconds, emergency crews are on the scene. Even Ricky rushes over to check on his opponent. Junior walks away from the wreckage and is visibly upset to see his car in ruins. As for Ricky, he too walks away from his damaged truck. Both men suffer minor injuries. 400 miles northeast of Darwin, Australia, the French cargo ship Laura experiences engine trouble. She drops anchor for repairs. She's a 1,283-ton vessel carrying loads of concrete and bitumen, a heavy tar-like form of petroleum. 16-foot swells and 20-knot winds batter the ship, causing the cargo to break loose. A dramatic shift in weight occurs when drums of bitumen roll to one side of the ship. Laura lifts dangerously to port. Waves crash over her deck. She starts to take on water. The captain sends out a distress call, then orders his crew to abandon ship. The vessel finally rolls over. The crew then spends 7 hours on the 2 life rafts. The Royal Australian naval ship, the Wollongong, arrives, and all of Laura's crew is rescued and uninjured. 90 minutes later, their ship is gone. The Laura and all her cargo are sent to the bottom of the sea. 5 miles east of Hait, Iraq, the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit is dispatched to find and destroy caches of enemy ammunition. When the Special Ops Unit locates enemy weaponry, they confiscate it, then dispose of it in the safest possible fashion. The Marines dig a large trench in which to demolish the munitions. They place explosives on top of the seized armaments. The area immediately surrounding the trench is cleared of all personnel. In Kazakhstan, members of the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit are involved in a critical operation. A fallen Russian helicopter must be destroyed in order to keep the technology out of enemy hands. Soldiers load the chopper with powerful explosives. Troops attach detonation wire to an incendiary device within the loaded chopper. Soldiers are instructed to station themselves a safe distance from the explosion site. The mission is a success. We'll see you next time on Destroyed in Seconds.
别走开，墨菲定律表示，会出错的事一定出错。目睹更多的灾难事件，就在毁灭瞬间。接着继续播出。
That was intense video. You remember the tire snaps off like the Wing Express? That white drag racer snaps off after the blue pickup truck dragster collides. Now, we're gonna hear Space and Time several times in a row. before I end this video, more episodes on my channel in season 2. What's coming up next? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time of Jose Serrano Special Vehicles.